what you have just seen was just some footage of the tornado which was devastating that hit the Niles area here. And today I have with me the Honorable Mayor John Schaefer and Lieutenant John Hughes, representing the Niles Fire Department, and also representing Charles Semple, which is Fire Chief. And we have with us Mrs. Ellen Sharkey, which is representing the American Red Cross, the Trumbull County chapter. And I like to introduce each one of them personally and have them just to have some open remarks. And I can start with Ellen right here. Ellen?
Oh, well, I'm very honored for the fact that you thought you should ask me to come in here to represent my chapter, and my chapter is very honored to have all of this knowledge going out. I do work out of the Trumbull County chapter for the American Red Cross, something I'm very proud of, and also out of the Niles chapter with Mary Jane Dell. And we will get into a little more of that, what some of the duties are a little later, but Niles, I'm proud of you.
All right. All right, on my left here we have the Honorable Mayor John Schaefer.
Thank you, Pastor. It's a pleasure for me to be here tonight representing the people of Niles, and it is an honor for me as mayor to be on this program, and I'm sure that we'll have plenty of comments later on in the program.
Good. All right, and right next to him is John.
Right, and I'm pleased to be here to represent Chief Semple and the Niles Fire Department, and all I can say is our guys did one heck of a job. I'm proud of all of them too.
Amen. All right. Mayor, what we're going to do here, and John and also Ellen, we're going to start rolling the film here, and we're going to be talking about everything from Warren Avenue right on up to the Strip. And so just feel free and just be comfortable. And here we are now on Warren Avenue. This is the Ashland Oil Refinery out there on Warren Avenue Extension. And Mayor, maybe you might be able to comment on something about this.
Yeah, I can comment, Reverend. I saw the tank from the air. In fact, I saw the whole area from the air, and I was just amazed to see this tank in the middle of Warren Avenue, and then to look to the left of the tank as flying over and saw St. Stephen's Cemetery, which was completely intact. I mean, it just amazed me, and the thought that went through my mind was, am I happy there wasn't gas in those tanks?
Oh, yes.
Because it could have been devastating.
I understand they were empty.
Yes, we were very lucky. And
they were 9 of them altogether.
Yes, sir.
8 of them was destroyed, and 1 still standing.
Mineral Ridge Fire Department had this problem.
Mineral Ridge?
They did a fantastic job because it was in Weathersfield Township. I don't know all the people that got involved with them out there.
Well, we want to
they really had a potential hazard, I mean, because of it's just unbelievable.
We want to give hats off to the Mineral Ridge Fire Department.
That's for sure. That's for sure.
They've done a good job. And I just think if all these tanks were full. And,
yes.
While I'm looking at this, they might have probably had part of McKinley Heights Fire Department. We'll give both fire department credit and any mutual aid departments they've had, because they had to have some help that. I know Niles, we didn't have that much to lend out at this time.
I see. And, all right, here we are now at Republic Steel on Main Street here in Niles. Now, myself personally, I worked at this particular plant for 19 years. And really, this one department you're seeing right now that's the shipping department there, and I worked there. The next one is the sorting department, and the next one was the electrolytic department. And it got a tremendous blow as far as that's concerned. Ellen, did you hear anything about that?
Well, my husband also works there at Republic Steel, and I understand that the full work crew was not out. You know, they did not come out. The staff did stay and try to clean up and get their mill back in order again. The crews that went out there and the men themselves from Republic Steel were pitching right in there, getting that thing right back.
Right there is the clock area right there.
That's the clock area. That's right. That's the guardhouse there where all the men have to go through and punch in.
Did you ever think, though, Pastor, if this would have happened years ago. If, you know, there's a lot of ifs to
Yes,
this tornado, because Niles Republic a few years back was booming. A lot of people were working there. Of course, it's LTV now.
Right.
But many years ago, I don't know what the number of employees were there, but
It would have been devastating.
that's
though.
right.
Yes.
Oh,
People
yes.
would have been
Yes.
trapped there
Yes.
at that time.
Well, I tell you, it's really, it really had a force there. I mean, that all outside was brick, as you can see there, and it must have hit that with a tremendous impact.
Very tremendous. Understand most of the fellows now are back to work. They've got that boarded, getting boarded up and getting back and get their little sections going once again.
Well, it never really hurt. It hurt the strip mill, which is in further in the plant. Now, this is what you're seeing. Here's the shipping department, where they stored all the tin plate at the particular time. But in further is the strip mill that that basically use right now.
I think another thing is the fortunate thing that they were working only one turn.
That's right,
That's
day
true.
turn. That's
Day turn.
right. That's right. And this happened at, as we know, it was 6:55 or 7 o'clock in the evening when it hit really Niles here. Chief, was any fire trucks called to this area for a fire? or
Not at
anything?
this time. The crew that was on duty, Captain Leonard's crew, he was one officer and 6 firefighters. And right at the instant of the tornado, that when it hit, they were dispatched to Convenient Food Market.
Oh, I see. Well, now here we are at Valley Steel.
Right,
Oh,
and which
this
would be
is
clear up at the other end,
Right.
you know.
This is
so-
right across the street from Republic Steel. And we have one of our men here at the church that actually worked here as a welder. And he had just got laid off probably maybe a week or two before this happened. And I don't really think anybody was working at the time anyhow, Mayor.
No, I don't think so. I feel, again, we are fortunate. Valley Steel erecting many years ago was working 2-3 turns, and I imagine everybody was gone from there at the time.
Right.
Well, we have no casualties listed there.
No casualties?
No casualties listed there.
I met the foreman there, and he talked to me, and he gave me permission to take these pictures. Like I said, it was hard at the time to get really right into some of these areas because of the danger of being hurt and the wires down and what have you. And so we done the best we could with our camera. Main Street here in Niles. Now we're going past. This is the Union Hall, United Steelworkers Union Hall Association. And there's many unions represented here. There's not only just one. Now, our union was 1338 for the Republic Steel across the street, but there was others, RMI and what have you, represented here. This basically is a unification union hall for all unions of Niles. There's several unions represented here.
This building is usually rented out for functions.
Yes.
And we were very, very fortunate that it was empty at this particular evening. They have many social functions that's carried on there.
And mostly it's on Saturdays, it's full. Practically every Saturday it's rented.
Well, that night it would have been full.
You mean Friday night? It would have
Yeah,
been?
Friday night it would have been full.
During the week, it's used to feed the elderly.
Yes, it's used to feed the
They prepare
elderly.
meals for 40 people that come there to eat, and then they
Okay.
prepare, there's 20 meals that they prepare and they take out. So they were left without a place, and I personally want to thank Mount Carmel Church for allowing them to go in to their kitchen and prepare the meals now. So
Yes, for their
Here
facilities.
we are
yes.
on Wood Glen, and this man here is John Smith. This is the brother of Robert Smith, which owns the place. And he was letting me know that they lost everything.
This street here was totally unbelievable, the damage that it sustained.
Wood Glen.
Right, I was
Yes.
in charge of the command center. I was appointed by Chief Semple up on 422, and we got command operations going. And we started putting a big picture together, and we saw what happened to Wood Glen. I felt so badly for these people because we didn't send work crews in until the ODOT people had moved out. And there was so many trees and all the utility poles, everything was down. And they were kind of last on the list because of the heavy damage that had to be cleared before our workforce could come in. But they're a bunch of fighters down there.
Yeah.
I'd go down there
Yes, they
and
are.
They're just a super group of people, and you're going to see them rebuild. I have all the confidence they're going to rebuild down in there.
Well,
but you can see the debris.
This was also, too, John, our particular baby in our motor route. We were right in there with immediate food care for these people. And I have made some very particular friends right down here on Wood Glen. Mr. Santangelo let us use his home that was partly left as a base for distributing food, hot foods for the people. They did not want to leave their homes. They wanted to stay there. And we were trying to get this hot food and liquid drinks, hot and cold, to them. And my motor crew made these trips there. And we found one man that is an invalid there, and we got so personal that he would put out a white flag if he needed us. We looked for that white flag. We wanted to check on this individual. And at the end of this street, we made contact with two elderly ladies at the very end. And when I tried to get to them, they kind of barricaded themselves in their home there. They were very petrified and scared of what had been going on, and they wouldn't respond to me. So I tried to tell them that I was from the American Red Cross and I was there to help them, but I just wasn't getting through to them until I realized later when we did get in, 3 hours later, I was able to get into the home with my motor crew that they were just in a state of shock. They were really scared and petrified what was going on. And they continued to look for our Red Cross helpers coming down there with food and drinks for them. And our packets of food, we took baskets and baskets of food to them. And we made special contact with these people in this area, and I'm going to tell you, they are terrific. They're good, solid people, and we love every one of them, and it has turned out that they love every one of us.
Amen. All right.
Very good people.
John, could you tell me whether there's any fires that broke out on Wood Glen Avenue at the time?
Not on Wood Glen. I can't remember which day, but we did have a minor fire on St. John, which is one street over. And our main concern with all the trees and the debris that was down, if we'd catch one major fire at one end of that block, it could have wiped them all out, and we knew that the people down there were staying with their homes.
Right.
So the life hazard there was kind of touchy, and we had to get the work crews in to clean it up as fast as we could. But under the circumstances, everybody pulled together, and
sure did.
We finally got to them, and cleaned them up as best we could. And our main concern was getting the electric, telephones, make sure the fire hydrants were available, and the streets were passable for emergency vehicles.
We did have some problem getting the power back on there, and I left the office about 4:30, and they were putting on the last two that are. Now, when I say putting on the last two, there are some there that don't have power yet, but the wires are just laying there, and they must get a licensed electrician and bring that power up to the meter, and then we will hook in. But there isn't too many, and we've done some things that probably we shouldn't have done, but to get power back on, we're going to see that they get it.
Right. Now, here we are on Cynthia Avenue here, and this was tremendous damage here on Cynthia Avenue. And maybe, Ellen, do you know a little bit about
Yes, I have a lot of friends that lived on this avenue, and we got down there with our immediate care, and we established contact with Mr. and Mrs. Nicastro that lived there, and we used their home as an outlet to bring in food and hot drinks for these people immediately. And it also went to the work crews and the law enforcement agencies that were out there. We were really trying to get these people calm and collected and to let them know that we were here if you needed us.
To help them.
To help them. And we established that. And there were a few of them in the area that I knew very, very personally that came up to me at the Niles McKinley High School and naturally upset and crying and needed things. And we sent them in the right directive to let them know that the care was there. If we could just calm everybody and let them know that take their time. The care is there. We will help you. And they have come back since to say, thank you, the care was there and we did help them.
What did you find
Well,
out
I'll tell you,
there?
I was there probably before the dust settled because I live on Frederick Street.
Right.
Okay.
And I saw the tornado coming, and I knew it turned, and I grabbed my communication radio and ran because I knew it hit down there. And when I got there, and I saw Nancy Street and Cynthia, I thought, there is dead all over the place. And this is something that was amazing to the fact that there was only 3 injuries that had to be transported to the hospital from that area.
That's beautiful.
Of course, Cynthia isn't as heavily populated as Nancy Street.
No, that's right. These are
And the
It's a
basically...
newer development on the
Yeah.
lower
Newer
side of the
development.
second
Yes.
court.
Was there some new homes that wasn't even lived in yet, that maybe down to the end there? Or
I
was
think
it all
they were all
occupied?
lived in.
No, there was one, that would be on Nancy Street.
Well, that's the next
That's the next one that
over.
we-
Yes.
Okay. But some of these folks has just completely lost their home
That's right.
altogether.
The thing is, if you watch the path of the tornado on a large map, where Niles was fortunate, and I'm not talking about the people that got hurt and lost their property, but where Niles was fortunate was where the tornado touched down in Niles, and I'm saying Woodland Avenue area. Then it came across the creek into a wooded area, and then it hit the Cynthia development.
Right.
And then it was a grassy field with Lincoln School there, and then it hit Convenient, and then went up on through the cemetery. Well, that kind of gave us
That's right.
the opportunities. It was little groups of people.
Right.
It was isolated, where if it would have come right up through any other section of town, it would have been devastation from one end to the other.
Oh, my
And
goodness.
we can feel sorry for their losses,
Yes.
but the tornado could have been a heck of a lot
Could have been
worse.
worse. Definitely worse. John, maybe the mayor, do you remember the one that that hit here in
1947.
47?
Yes, I do. It came down through the forest and out Niles Vienna Road out to
Yes.
Brookfield. But I think what saved us in 1947 was the populace wasn't there.
Okay. Excuse me, Mayor. Here we are on Susan Court now. This is Susan Court. And there was some homes on the left side, as I'm showing the film here, on the left side, completely destroyed.
And on the right, did you notice that there was 2 that had some damage?
Yes,
And
yes.
then the other 2 were completely totaled out.
Total, yes. they
And it
were.
was hard to believe that it could do as much damage in one spot and then miss a couple of homes, because to look at it, you would think they would all be gone.
Well, you just wonder how that something like it can miss some houses and completely destroy others.
Later on, maybe your films will show what happened up in Shadow Ridge. That's
Yes,
interesting.
yes, we
Yes,
will
that's
go
very
there.
interesting there. You've got to remember that these people did not have lights either. And when we went down there immediately on Friday night and Saturday with our immediate care, it was very interesting to see the generators that had been donated to these people to get some type of light down there. The lanterns, the flashlights were everywhere, and the good old American candle.
Right.
And the good old American flag.
Yeah, the good old American flag, yes, there was...
You will see that as we go on
Yes.
in the film. You will
Right.
see the American flag
All
appear
through the
beneath it.
neighborhoods.
all through the different neighborhoods.
Yeah, good old Irish name. This is Frank Mussolino,
Right.
and this is on Nancy Street, Frank?
979 Nancy Street.
979 Nancy Street.
Right.
And Frank was in the house, he
Right.
said, when this all happened. And he's lost a lot of valuables, a lot of good things he treasured that he got when he was in the service. These things could never be replaced. Frank Mussolino.
Some houses on Nancy Street that
Never
In
got
perfect
never got
shape.
touched.
Never got touched.
maybe had a broken window or 2, but immediately I found out that there was 3 injured there, and there was no way to get an ambulance. So I ran all the way from Nancy to the corner of Vienna and Washington and Vienna, and finally got an ambulance, and we got down in there, and there was one young fellow that was injured fairly bad, and we managed to get him and another woman that came down. Incidentally, the irony of this is this woman came to pay her rent
Oh,
to a person that lives on Nancy Street whose house was totally destroyed, and she got caught in the tornado. And she was hurt. She had back injury, but one of the ambulances that we had did a fantastic job down there. But the calm seemed to come back almost immediately. I mean, people weren't running around, they weren't screaming, they weren't hollering.
They were accounting for each other.
That's right.
Is what
Yes.
fascinated me. Everybody knew where everybody else was on their streets.
Ellen, could you give us some statistics on maybe the damage right now of the homes and what have you?
In our area that had
Yes.
been hit?
Yes.
Yes, I do have them. I have the Niles statistics, and the single-family homes that were destroyed was 121. Very luckily, we had no mobile home units that were destroyed. 52 apartments, and of the major damage, there was 36 in the single-family dwellings. They were very major damages, no mobile homes, and 16 apartments. And of the minor damages, which we would think would be very major to ours, we're listing it as minor, there were 86 single homes that had minor damages and 20 apartment complexes that had minor damages, giving us a total in our area, just in our immediate area, 331 homes with either minor or major damages. That does not include in businesses. In our businesses in Trumbull County, we had 43 businesses that were in major disaster, and 52 in the minor disaster. In our public buildings in our area, we had 5, and in major, and 10 in major, I'm sorry, and 5 in minor in our business areas. In agriculture, we had 1 barn in our area, and we will get to that. That was our Cisco farm right in our backyard,
Right.
where I live, and we will get to that. But we did have, in a total of, in Niles, 331 minor and major homes damaged.
Mayor, did you visit this particular area?
Oh, yes, I was in that particular area immediately.
Immediately.
Once I saw the tornado turn and go towards there, I immediately ran to that area. And like I had said before, the calm became known. I mean, the people, like John said, were concerned for their neighbors, and it just seemed that everybody down there was trying to take care of one another. I mean, it was just togetherness.
We had one incident on Nancy Street with Mr. Mussolino, and a dear little man down there. He gave the story about when this tornado came, he had changed his clothes and had put his pants and wallet on his bed and put on his older clothes.
Right.
And as the story went, that his entire house was swept away. He had nothing left, but he was unhurt. And his pants and his wallet took off with everything else. And he was concerned about his pants and his wallet.
Right.
But anyway, 5 miles away and 2 days later, his pants were never found, but his wallet was, and it had been returned by a law enforcement officer with everything intact.
I'd like to tell you who found that wallet.
Who was that?
Right.
My son-in-law,
All right.
who was a major in the Army Reserve. He was on that search. But he was talking to Mr. Mussolino
Yes.
the night before down on Nancy Street, and then he was on this search, the last search party that John got together, and he found the wallet.
Isn't that something?
Here we are. Is this the Eastwood Arms?
Eastwood Arms, yes.
Eastwood Arms. Now look at these apartments here. John, what did you...
No lives lost.
No lives.
The amazing thing.
No.
I don't know whether Ellen, if there was any injuries in the Eastwood.
We had just minor.
Minor.
Yeah, we had minor abrasions and things of that sort.
Can you imagine that whole side
nothing
ripped out
serious.
there? Now, is this basically...
We felt that, yes, Reverend, we felt that this was like a dollhouse, a child's dollhouse.
Yeah.
Furniture and beds were still made and left intact, but the complete roof and sides of the building was
Gone.
completely gone. So when you look at it, you're looking right into 1 and 2 and 3 stories into the homes where these people lived, and their things are intact. Like you say, we're surprised where it does hit and what it takes away, and then leaves other things right intact.
I think we had a few angry citizens over these Eastwood Arms for
Yeah,
a little while.
we did.
had to restrict it.
I see.
We had the building inspector go in and the fire chief and inspect to make sure it was safe. But they,
Here we are, John, at the convenient mark. Now,
right,
Yes.
this is where the Niles Fire Department first got the
Okay.
first call. And Captain Leonard pulled in with a crew of 6 men, and right away the buildings collapsed, people trapped. We took 1 dead out of convenient.
1 dead.
This was our first death.
Oh, my.
Now, from Wood Glen on, you've got to take in consideration, this fire captain knew we got hit by a tornado.
Right.
but he doesn't know the extent of the damage yet. So all these people behind him were fending for themselves. We had to take it one building at a time to make sure that
That's right.
it was clear.
John, was that lady that you took out of convenient, is that the lady that died of a heart attack?
I don't believe so,
You don't
not
believe?
this one. No.
Because thinking back to Cynthia, there was a lady in that duplex there that did pass away from a heart attack. I just wondered if that was
You
the
have
same.
so many hours after a tornado disaster that if a person dies within that time, it is
No, I
considered a
think
tornado
this
disaster.
lady definitely died in the store.
Did
I
she?
was,
All right,
This is
here we
not
are.
Look at our
Union
cemetery.
Cemetery right
Yes.
now, yes.
Yes.
we had a group of Amish people come in afterwards, and
Where was they from, John?
Holmes County, some
Holmes
of them in PA, most of them, and I mean, super bunch of fellas. And this is where I like to give some credit to ODOT, the Ohio
Yes.
Department of Transportation.
Go right ahead.
These people came in, and you want an uplifting feeling to see them yellow trucks rolling across the viaduct and say, put us to work.
Yes.
And they went up in here, and Mary, you can take over. They,
Well, I'll tell you, they did a super job, and I think nobody can understand or believe this, but I think when you used to go up on the top of the hill and go in our cemetery and look down, it was one of the most beautiful
It was.
cemeteries that I have ever seen.
Beautiful.
And I think if you go up there now and look down, you think it's a battlefield. All you need is
Yes.
the bomb craters.
That's the truth.
And I think that another thing, the thing that I saw yesterday that amazed me, there's a tombstone that's blown right into the bottom of this tree. So the force. Our mausoleum, which
Right, you'll be sitting here.
we
just
will
in a
see
few
that
minutes.
soon, but where I can, the closest date I can get is 1862. And we're looking probably at $250,000 to get it back to
Is that
where it
right?
was, yes, because of the roof. It's a Spanish clay roof. But while we're talking about tombstones, the monument company there on Vian Avenue, you know, that was totaled out
Right
by
next
the
to convenience.
tornado.
Yes, yes.
They found a bill from the monument company in Clarion, Pennsylvania, which is approximately 100 miles away from here. So, but the cemetery is going to be closed for another 2 weeks because it practically is impassable, and it's very dangerous for people to go in there because there's stones that tombstones are laying around, and so we're keeping everybody out past
So you're
there.
asking them to be patient.
Be patient.
Be
You've made
I
an
know.
assessment. The assessment's been made of the tombstones.
That's right.
And when Mr. Fisher gets a chance, or the mayor, they both have the lists.
I would like to comment, there's 863 tombstones that are damaged, either off the foundation, blown over, or some damage. Some of them are blown that we couldn't get the names, it's listed as unknown. And also that we had a total of 263 trees destroyed there.
My. It would take years for that to...
Well, I know I'll never see it, but
No.
my grandchildren won't see it. It'll be my grandchildren's children maybe
Children
that will see
may be able to see
it
it.
back to
Will they
not quite where it was before
Will
it
they
happened.
plant new trees in a...
Yes, we are going to, FEMA, which is the federal government, said that they will give us 2-inch trees in diameter, but that isn't going to take the place of a tree that's maybe
No.
150 years old or
We
200
had
years
lost
old.
one that
We
was
did.
140 years
That's
old.
right.
There was also a story the night that this happened that when the mausoleum got hit, we had disinterred bodies all over the place.
My. Now, here's the barn. Cisco's...
that's it.
Yes, this is the barn that's listed as damage.
Is it
Yes.
completely demolished
It is.
now?
It's now
I think the
demolished.
next
It's
scene-
down.
I think
Yes,
the next
it's
scene
down
we'll see-
now. It was not able to be saved, I do not think, and it is completely down. And the Cisco farm is
There it
well
is.
known in our area. It is now. This is where it is completely
Yes,
cleared
it's
away
completely
here.
down now.
He lost 4 cows and over 400 chickens.
Is that right?
And we had a crew of Amishmen, like I was telling you before, that went in there and went right to work for
Done
the
a
man.
good job. Now,
Worked
this is
with-
Shadow Ridge
Right.
here on Leonard Lane. Mayor, maybe you can comment on something.
Yes, Lantern Lane was mostly young married people who took pride in their homes, and I think the amazing thing of it is the way the tornado came through Lantern Lane. If you would notice, I think John probably knows what I'm talking about, the way it cut through there and destroyed, once again, some homes and then didn't get the other ones. I feel that we were fortunate there to the fact there are a lot of little children that live on Lantern Lane. We didn't have any injuries and no fires, right, John?
Right. But this is one area you can go see one antenna bent, then the next house will be bent a little bit more, and then the next house, the roof's gone.
Roof's gone.
And then you go on and you got a whole block of houses. I mean, it's just gone.
Well, we've got to remember these tornadoes went like with a swath of 200 yards wide. And, you know, they were 3.5 miles long. And the velocity of it was what?
350 mile an hour.
350 mile an hour wind velocity with this. I know in this area here, I have a personal friend that said that her home had the mulch pelted, just embedded right into her home, and would never be able to get the mulch out of her home.
It wasn't on Lantern Lane, it was in one home where there was a dead bird in the dishwasher.
Oh my!
The dishwasher. Oh my goodness.
So you
Well,
just wonder how, you know, strange
certainly
things like
wanna-
that.
Strange things,
We
very
certainly want to
strange.
give our police department tremendous credit here.
Definitely.
You know, Pastor, it's hard to give any individuals
Right,
credit.
I
You know,
understand.
because, you know, you say, nice job, and they say to you, that was my job.
right.
Yeah, right.
But, you know, I hesitate to mention anybody in particular because, you know, I'm going to miss somebody, and,
Right.
and I don't
We
want to
don't
hurt
want
him.
hard feelings.
That's
Well,
right.
I
because-
can do one for you.
Yeah, go
Okay,
ahead,
John.
John.
Lieutenant Gorby, Ray
Gorby?
Gorby, the Niles Police
Yes.
Department, ran the CP up on 422, the command post. And Ray and I worked a little bit together for the traffic problems and stuff. And with the National Guard and all the local law enforcement officers came in, and these guys did, like I said with everybody else, they did one super job. We needed to get trucks and stuff moved in other areas, and they'd close down portions of the city. And we've all learned some very valuable lessons
Valuable.
to improve on it. But these guys really did one super job, and that's what we're trained for. We're all safety forces, and
That's
they did what
true.
they had to do, and we did what we had to do, and we got the city back to shape.
It was a good job.
And with everybody pitching in and doing what they had to do, we had a tremendous job.
Yes, we did.
Done, right. And there was no casualties here on Shadow Ridge, on the Leonard Lane, was
I think we had a few injuries out of it.
We had some injuries that were reported in, yes, we did. We had a lot of minor abrasion, shock, this type thing, which was well taken care of. They went to our service bureau. They're taken care of very well in our hospitals.
When I was taking these Ellen, it was in the morning, and here come the American Red Cross wagon up and was giving out coffee and donuts, and I thought that
My
was...
motor crew, I'm very proud of them. I'm very proud because they were right there with the immediate care.
They were everywhere.
They were with immediate care. We got the streets immediately, and we got through with our Red Cross sign. Everyone recognizes that Red Cross sign, and they let us through, and they were really welcoming us. We not only passed out food and drinks, but we were counselors at the time and consoling people and
Good.
trying to keep the calm. And it's something I have never done. I was a little bit involved with the one in Vienna in 1947. I was a little younger then, but
Just a little bit.
just a little bit younger then, and it kind of gave me a little insight to the feelings of these people and the emotion and the tragedy of what is going on in their hearts and how they feel. And you feel for them. You can't help but feel for them.
No.
And we did take a few families in at our shelter at this time, which was set up at Niles McKinley High School. And we did unite a number of people that could not find each other. And I'm very proud of the fact that we were able to help them and console them. And we did feel for them.
Well, as the mayor says, we don't want to hurt nobody's feelings.
That's
but,
right.
You got the electric department, the gas department.
All of them.
You got
I'm
every
going to tell you a little
department
story
that there
about our
was.
light gang later
The
on.
unity that came out of this,
Right.
it wasn't just any one particular brand name, you might say. The unity of the people. To me, I will never stop talking about the unity of the people of Niles
That's beautiful.
and how we have pulled together and used our resources, whether we are well equipped in knowledge of how to handle it or not. They were there and they stuck together and they held together, and they still are doing that. I'm very proud of our people in our town.
Ellen, I think you said the Stauffer family was hurt pretty hard here.
Yes, the Stauffer family here in this area, there is a mother and her husband. They lost their home, and their 2 children live in that area, and they all lost their homes. And it's a very tragic thing because it just wasn't one in the immediate family. It was the immediate family. that lost very much there.
But they'll be back because they've already started.
They will be
Chopper
back.
the other
That is
day,
a staunch Stoffer family. They will be back in Niles. They will be there, and many others.
The strange thing with all this, too, wasn't it the Red Cross shelter? We only sheltered 11 people.
Yes.
Everybody else
We
was...
sheltered 11, and we got, I think, just out of the Niles chapter alone, 22 people back with their families that were disoriented. Some had been transferred to the hospital. They couldn't find them. They didn't know where they were. We kept a running list of where these people had reported or where they had been and tried to get them together and help them along.
And here we are at Vienna Avenue, I believe it is, where the Nazarene Church is.
Right.
And this house was slightly damaged.
That would be on the right side of the road.
Right. That's on the right side of the road. It'll show the Nazarene Church here.
It'll be over on the left.
I don't know what the total damage was at the Nazarene. I know part of the roof was...
part of the roof. You can see the damage of the roof when we pan over there. And here we go. But it seemed like the buses are still intact.
Yes, I noticed that there was some mud on them, but they looked pretty decent.
But we thank the Lord that the church was spared.
And
Yes.
this is the second area that the Niles Fire Department responded to from the convenient area. We went straight up to 422 because of the roller rink, which will probably be coming up
Right,
next.
we'll be coming to that.
But we thought the church was a lot worse as we passed it, because it was that time of night, and it looked like part of the roof was gone, and
They had glass breakage and roof damage that I could see.
but that night, you know, it looked like
Yeah,
it had all been
yeah.
peeled off. And
Now, here we are on the strip, John,
Right.
and we can see the beautiful sign of Niles, corporation limits. And here we are, probably panning over to the Thornton's gas station.
This would be Thornton's gas station, and probably
Right behind it, the nursing home, I
Maybe the
believe.
nursing
nursing
Yes.
home. And then we have
Yes, that's what Niles Park Plaza,
Yes,
right in
it's all
there.
together
Yes,
right
it's
here.
all
And the
together.
roller rink, and
And
the
the roller-
scare of
That's
the
the
roller
gas-
rink.
is that
This is the gas station
gas
right here.
station,
Uh-huh.
We'll get a little clearer here just in a few minutes. Okay. And this is the
Now,
gas
this
station.
is where the other deaths in Niles took place.
Yes.
Now, how many deaths was here, John?
Did you have 7 listed here?
I have 7 listed here, yes,
Because I had 7 here, and one at Convenient was 8, and then 1 died later, which would have made the 9.
which would make the 9 in our area. This is the disaster area where the deaths did occur. And this nursing home that we're coming right in here, right behind Thornton's,
Right.
I understand it was empty. It is ready. It was
due to
ready to
open.
go.
Due to open.
And they were getting ready to open and had listing of people that would be coming in within the next 4 to 6 weeks.
And it was totally gone.
I think-
Totally gone.
I think another thing is the skating rink. I think the first reports were that there was 18 children in the skating rink. But thank God that was false.
That's
But
right.
here goes the if again. Another 15 minutes, half hour. It was the first night of free passes for the children.
Oh, my
That could have been
At
200,
7:30.
300
Right.
Mayor Schaefer,
children
at
in there.
7:30,
you
they
can
were going to
understand-
open and let them in.
That's why our fire department went immediately to this area next, because of the high risk for lives. And once again, I mean, piling through brick and getting cranes, and everybody, now remember, all this time too, everybody's working around extreme gas leaks.
That's right.
And East Ohio Gas did a terrific job of shutting down all the gas lines as soon as they could get...
I think you'll see in the picture where it was important to our city that our main transformers
Right there.
are not damaged right next door.
There they are.
I mean, if those transformers would have been damaged, we'd have been still without power.
Right, right.
So God works in funny ways, you know.
Right.
You
Here's,
can look at those metal roof joists or girders, whatever you want to call them, and
Right.
see how they're twisted like paper. It's unbelievable, the force.
Now, would them come off from the roller rink, or John?
The roller rink or the Park Plaza.
Or the
had
Park
that type of
Plaza.
roofing.
Right.
Number of stores completely
I know that the
destroyed.
roller rink's roof collapsed into the building,
Oh, into the building.
and we had to get cranes up there and burning torches, and the mutual aid companies we had in. You can't just pinpoint one
that's
person
right,
and say
that's right.
thanks, but I mean,
This is also the area where we found cars that were just tossed around like toys.
Right.
And they were just damaged beyond, just totally. One looked like it was completely sandblasted. Sand had just been embedded completely into the cars.
the thing that fascinates me, there's another area of Niles right behind this area, within, it's Nob Hill development. And they suffered light to moderate damage because it veered off.
Veered off.
It did.
But if you look at a Trumbull County map, it looks like it went straight. but it veered off from the Nob Hill area, and they suffered some damage, but not like anybody else.
You know, we are also lucky that the people in the Park Plaza, Niles Park Plaza, weren't injured. Of course, there were deaths occurred there, but there was a lot of young ladies and young gentlemen that were some were in the karate class and some were in the
Yes.
Aerobics class.
aerobics
Aerobics class,
and,
that's the one we were
There's the lockers
concerned.
there.
Right.
at the
Yeah, the
roller
lockers are still there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
If it's just been a half hour later or
Later,
sooner.
that's what I say, the big if is in here.
Niles
You know,
Park
this is-
Plaza, there would have been a lot of still owners there and people shopping there, but because it was later, it was practically all closed. And then the roller rink, if it had been just a little bit later,
Right.
probably hundreds of our children.
That's
But
right.
anytime you have something like this, all fire departments, I don't care who they are, have to go on the assumption you have life in there.
Right.
And it seems like you waste a lot of time in one area, but no stone is that unimportant to turn over to make sure
right.
there's nobody there. And the decisions made as far as the rescue efforts, I think, were correct.
I
We did a
do.
lot of searches up in this area.
I think Sunday was the search that I was disturbed because there was 5 people unaccounted for, and I just had that feeling that there was somebody still under the rubble. And they did another search. John organized and the fire chief organized another search, and
They
went
did 3
through,
total searches.
but there
And one
wasn't
went all the
anybody.
way to Gerard Lake.
That's right.
And it was unfounded. It's just a few names that we had to work on that were unaccounted for, but it was
Cleared
very
that up pretty
sketchy.
fast, though, after we got on
The
the
cars was tremendously damaged.
Tremendously damaged.
Beyond recognition,
Right.
what make they were was hard to say.
And the irony of it is, of
Here
all
we
these
go.
cars that are damaged, there was
Right.
no one in them.
This
Here
is
we
White's
are at
Junkyard.
White's Auto Wrecking.
White's, mhm.
This is White's Auto Wrecking on Salt Springs Road.
These guys did a fantastic job of clearing the highways
That's
for us,
right.
pulling in these
That's right. We want to give
vehicles.
White's Auto Wrecking recognition.
Even though he did tow
They've
mine.
done a good job. Did they tow your car?
Yes, he did.
Was it by mistake or what?
No, I responded. I was off duty, and I responded to the convenient food location. And then when I got sent from 422 to set up a command post, my vehicle was left in a wrong area as far as the police were concerned, and they towed me just like anybody else.
That's right, we have to follow rules too.
But this extreme damage to these vehicles is unbelievable.
That one is completely sheared.
There's supposedly a car out on Stillwagon Road that has a 2x4 straight through the tire, and the tire isn't deflated.
My goodness.
There's all kind of things like that out there that you couldn't believe.
Mayor, I'm Pastor George Johnson from the Family Life Center here in Niles, Ohio.
Yes, Pastor.
And we have a Spirit of Truth program that we are on 4 nights a week. And we are making a special of just nothing but the Niles disaster area. And Mayor, why don't you just give us a rundown, just a little bit. I know you're a busy man, but just give us a rundown of what you think may what have happened right here. You can start maybe from the oil tanks to Republic Steel or right on through.
Well, Pastor, I was standing in the backyard and saw it coming, and it was coming right from my house, and I don't know what happened. It made the turn and hit down on 2 streets below me, Nancy and Cynthia. And as soon as I saw it going that way, I grabbed my police radio and ran down there, and I thought, oh, God, they're all dead. But thank the good Lord, we only had 3 people injured, and I am happy for that part because it could have been probably maybe 25 people could have been dead in that area, and so I feel we were fortunate in that area. And through the rest of the town that was hit, we were fortunate, but we were less fortunate out in the 422 area where it hit the Niles Shopping Plaza in the house across the street on 422. We had 11 people total that were dead from the disaster, and I thank God it could have been a lot worse if it would have happened a half hour later. There probably would have been 200 or 300 children in the skating rink. So
when would you contact the mayor about this? About what time?
probably about 2 minutes after it happened. I wasn't contacted. I just moved down into the disaster area below my house, and I have probably been going ever since, you know, just trying to get things organized. And it's a shame that something like this has to happen to bring people together, but I have to say the people of Niles have responded tremendously.
Well, Mayor, you've been doing a good job.
Well, thank you, Pastor. I appreciate
You're doing
that.
a good job. We thank you very much.
Thank you very much,
We'll get with you
Pastor.
later, all right?
Okay, thank you, sir. You have a good day.
Thank you very much. That was Mayor Schaefer here in Niles, Ohio. Mr. Sharkey.
Yes.
And this is a woman responsible for all this.
Well, I don't know if I'm responsible. I'm here as a coordinator to help, but I'm trying to get things out and do what they need of me.
Beautiful. Could you give us a little rundown about all these groceries? And we're going to be moving into your kitchen area pretty soon, but we'd like for you to just give us a rundown for all these groceries and who donated them, what.
Oh, man. I call this little project now, it's been quoted, Sharky's Machine. In this project, people are coming in, I would say people not just from Niles alone, but people throughout the surrounding areas, and I mean as far away as Mississippi and Florida and Michigan. They are coming in with truckloads, believe me when I say truckloads, I mean truckloads of food and clothing for us.
We hear you even got Bibles to give them.
Listen, that is the terrific thing where we have not stopped to think that some of these people have lost the most precious thing in their home. And when they say, well, what have you lost? And two people come and said, the most precious thing I could lose was my Bible. It is my family records. It's an authentic record. And that went out, and before I knew it, we had Bibles donated here to give out to these people. So we do have some Bibles. If you'd like to have a Bible in your home and you're in the disaster victim area, we will be glad to give you a Bible.
Amen. All right. Just about this crew that's coming in now. Where are these people coming from?
These people are coming from all over our area. Our service director, Lou Salina, has sent these people out. Most of these people are now volunteers coming in. They do have to register with our service director. They get a special permit to go into areas where they can cut down trees and get family lives back together again. And now we let them know that since they are out there servicing, I can see one man's been in the sun. This is what's happening here all day.
Now,
And
they
yesterday,
said that you had an Amish crew that come in.
Yes,
is this part of them here?
This is part of them, and we've had a Mennonite crew come in, and most wonderful, wonderful people. They say, here we are. What can we do for you? And these people are not even in our immediate area. They have come by trucks and saying, here I've got chainsaws, I've got rakes. Where do you need me? Our service director gets them out. They are able to go into the area with a permit. We are not allowing just anybody to run into private property. They must have a permit and help clean up these homes. And now they're going to have a break. These people have possibly started 5 o'clock this morning. So now they're having a break, and that's what's happening here now.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Sharkey. We'll get with you later on, all right? Thank you very much. All right, this was the kitchen help here in the McKinley High School, and Mrs. Ellen Sharkey is the one that's taking care of all of this. All right, this is Margaret
Gellum.
Right. All right, Margaret, how about telling us here what your job is?
Well, I came out here Friday night, and we helped set this up, and they brought out the Red Cross mobile van to go out to the site to set up a #1 first aid station site. And from Monday morning at 8 o'clock, until 8 o'clock at night, really, for 12 hours, we were out at the cemetery. And out there, the Red Cross supplied me with everything that I needed. Our main casualties were splinters, people with soot and dust in their eyes. And the guys were really appreciative, and out of the van, out of the mobile unit, I also went ahead and serviced them with food and drinks.
Food and drink.
Right.
And
we took care of the state crews. The state crews had 115 people out there, and I'm not sure how many the city crew had. They kept coming and going.
Now, you're a registered nurse,
Yes,
right?
I am.
Well, it was a wonderful thing you was on the site there, Margaret.
I really enjoyed it. I've met some wonderful people, and they have had tremendous comments about the Red Cross.
We appreciate the work you're doing here and what you've already done. I know that you've seen a lot, and
yes, we have. We all have.
We sure appreciate the work.
I had a young man working with me who had first aid, and we came in and they were serving spaghetti. and he said, I'm going to pass on anything red. I'm getting ready to take a unit out to the Wood Glen area right now.
All right.
The cemetery no longer has the unit set up there because most of the crews have moved out.
Gone. All right, Margaret Gell, I'm a registered nurse here that's been working hard and feverishly on this disaster, and she's been doing a great job. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Can I bring a couple of those?
Juanita Schillinger.
And what do you do?
Mainly I'm in charge of the back door, watching and taking down the names of the contributions that's brought in.
Okay, Juanita, thank you very much. If you could folks the lead here. Darlene, can you tell us what you do here now?
A little bit of everything, usually keeping the salads ready, taking care of desserts, anything else they want. Usually I can find in the kitchen.
Come right on up here. You come right on up here. Oh, yeah. Mary Bell?
Mary Bell.
Okay.
Well, I've been trying to get the whole thing organized and together because I'm cafeteria supervisor for the city schools. So I've had wonderful help from all my ladies and many of the teachers and just lots of volunteers. And we've just been cooking up everything that anybody has sent in, and it's all been donated. We haven't purchased anything.
Thank you, Mary Bell. All right, come right on up here. This is Anna Mae Kushner.
That's correct.
Okay, go ahead, Anna.
Well, I came down here to butter bread and to cut up carrots and celery, and I ended up being, I have a title here now. I think it's
Kitchen Food
coordinator.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
All right. Do you want to introduce
Now,
these men
yes,
here?
I would like to bring
Come right on over here, sir.
where these fellows are.
Come right on over.
Only part of us.
This again, this is a few that are here. Some have already gone home. They've been on night crew. This is our cleanup janitor control crew.
What's your name?
My name's Joe Shirazi.
Joe Shirazi. All right, sir. And what's your name?
Larry.
Larry?
Yeah.
Okay.
My name's Joe Saplici.
Joseph who?
Saplici.
Saplici.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, Joe. And
Fine,
what do you do here?
And whatever, you know, they are keeping our garbage barrels constantly clean. Maintenance, our floors are sparkling, our tables are clean, our entrances are in perfect shape.
And our garbage is empty.
Hey,
And the
man.
garbage is empty.
All right. This is a cleanup crew there.
This is a cleanup crew, and
All
they did
right.
a bang-up job.
Hang up job. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. All right, Joe. Mr. Sedig, would you talk to us a little bit about
Certainly. Friday night when the phone call came, a disaster program had been established several years ago, and Niles McKinley High School was to be the location which we opened as a center for those that would be involved in any type of disaster. And it was 2 years ago that we had a fire at Pepper Tree Apartments on Christmas Eve. And so we knew what to do and where to come. We opened the schools, as you can see, not only for the Red Cross, but also for the governor's force that came in to provide assistance, and now have it as part of a DAC center for the federal agencies here for the entire area of Trumbull County. Our feeling is that the schools belong to the community, and we're going to do anything humanly possible to service the community here in Niles.
All right, sir. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Mr.
Jim Roos.
Rose. All right. Go ahead, sir.
Basically, we've just been down here trying to support whatever needed to be done, give Sharkey any support she may have needed, and hopefully have a good availability of shelter, food, clothing, whatever was needed.
Now, what's your position, sir?
I'm strictly a volunteer.
Just a volunteer. All right.
Right.
Thank you very much, Cal.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
your help. Thank you very much. Well, I want to thank each one of you for coming to the Spirit of Truth program here at the Family Life Center. And Mayor, I certainly appreciate you taking out the time that you have taken out to be with us.
Thank you.
We thank you very much. Mayor John Schaefer as Mayor of Niles. We appreciate you very much, sir.
Thank you very much.
And John Hughes.
Right.
And we appreciate you, John, representing the Niles Fire Department, and Chief Simple.
Right.
And we want to give the chief honor there. He done tremendous lot of work, and he had a lot of responsibility on him.
Yes,
we
he
thank
did.
the chief very much,
Thank you.
personally. You thank him from me as a pastor of the Family Life Center for our people of Niles. They've done a tremendous job. And Helen, you've done a tremendous job for the Red Cross here, the Trumbull chapter.
Thank you.
And beautiful. And we'll probably be seeing more of you on the film, but we want to thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
We want to thank everyone for tuning in to us, the Spirit of Truth program, the disaster of May 31st of 1985. God bless you and farewell.